there is a desire that people want to have education. People go into politics, like I said, to better themselves and better other people around them, to better society.
Do you think it's also do you think it's also a power thing? Do you think people
What's
love?
that? In what way?
Well, like, why would you go into politics? I'd love to believe. I'd love to be idealistic enough to believe that everyone that gets into politics is trying to make the world a better place. I think it comes down to prestige and power for a lot. Like one of my big frustrations with the Conservative Party is that they are the party of, you know, self responsibility, improving, like, work hard, make something of yourself, improve your own luck, which I could sort of get on board with to some extent, and we can come on to that a bit later. But I think if I were a card carrying true blue Conservative, I would find it incredibly grating to be a member of this party and to be out, you know, canvassing for them as this, you know, work hard, make your own luck, self responsibility. But then the people at the top that seem to dominate the party are these, like, Etonite, silver spoon, you know, your Jacob Rees-Moggs, your Boris Johnsons, David Camerons, George Osbornes. Like, do you think does that? Maybe you can't say this, I don't know, but does that frustrate you, or does that, like, behind closed doors, away from the cameras, does that grate on people within the Conservative Party as well, or is there something I'm not getting about it?
There's the aspect about wealthy individuals being politicians. I think that's obviously actually across the board. I don't necessarily think that's just a Conservative thing. I think that's Labour thing as well. I think what you do want is you want politicians who are qualified to do the job, and we do focus perhaps on individuals such as that who have quite personalities. But actually, if you look at the election results from 2017 and 2019, you actually saw a huge increase of new generation of MPs who are from more working class backgrounds, who actually come from more diversity and so forth as well. I mean, the current cabinet is probably the most diverse cabinet we have with black voters ever. That we don't want to acknowledge that. So I think it's you've got a party to have two female prime ministers, with another party, even now, if they're thinking of replacing him, they're still thinking, well, there's another man called Andy in Manchester, he should replace him. It's like, the idea of Lisa or Jess replacing is not the focus. So I think in politics as well, you recognise it's an umbrella. Like, so politics is supposed to be the Conservative. It's a tent, and Labour is a tent of ideas of the left and the right. And I think, like I said before, in politics, it's that compromising. So yes, you have people up there who are always the face of British people, but at the same time, people then get really annoyed because they go, "Oh, you've got someone who isn't really qualified, doesn't really know the world. They've been elected." But they say the person that comes to their head. And, when it comes like doctors, you want the qualified person in the job. You don't really care where they went to school. You just want to make sure they're qualified in what they're doing. And that can be a difficult process. I think I can see what you're trying to say. I think in politics, we learn to compromise, because I think that is life. You can't get everything you want to have. But it's making sure people have the actual means to be successful. So that's making sure they have access to healthcare, access to a good education, and access to opportunities in life. So everyone has an equality of opportunities. Yeah. You can't have equality of people, because not everyone's the same. So there's no point making equality of people.
Yeah. I get on board with, like, equality of opportunity. I don't think people should just be gifted, I don't know, like nice shiny things on the basis that somebody else somewhere might have a nice shiny thing. Like, I don't think that's going to solve anything for anyone. But equality of opportunity is as far as I'm concerned, yeah, absolutely. Let's progress on that basis. I suppose my point really was that even if you've got this very diverse cabinet, and and things are getting better, which admittedly they are. If you've got more working class background ministers coming up, that's great. I just think none of that takes away from this sort of fundamental mixed match of being a party of self-responsibility and make something of yourself and improve your own situation, if it's being headed by people who had their entire lives handed to them. Like I would feel like if I was wheeled out onto Andrew Marr or, you know, Sophie Ridge or something, and somebody said that to me, like, how are you, like, if I, let's say I'm in work, like Department of Work and Pensions, I'm Therese Coffey, and I'm wheeled onto Marr, and my new initiative is pretty grueling on some people out there, and they push back on it a bit, and what they say to me is, well, this is going to really hurt people, so what should they do? And then my response is, well, you know, people need to work hard and improve their situation, and, you know, get down and maybe retrain and all that stuff. How am I going to sit there on Mar and say that shit when my boss's boss's boss is only in that position because of extreme nepotism and the fact that they're drenched in privilege? It would just, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this. Hand in my resignation, you know?
I think so. If you have any resignation, then how would it change? I guess. I mean, I think the issue about politics, like, you recognise there's a change of politicians. Yes, I think in any political party, like even the same Labour Party, a lot of people feel quite detached with the current leader of the Labour Party because he's got Sir in his name, and he lives in North London, and there's a perception that it's this sort of North London Islam.
Right. Yeah.
Like telling people how the world works. I think part of it is actually people want to be left alone to live their own lives. And they don't really mind too much if the person went to a good education or come from a background, how long they have those opportunities. I think it's more about, you should always be, I think the problem is, like you said earlier, policy is not boring because we're attacking someone's background and not actually attacking someone's policies.